Hi, sweetheart, what's your name?
Do you see any of the real Diana in Meghan? Did
God,
you?
no.
Really?
No.
Oh,
Sorry. Are there any fans of Meghan Markle in tonight? Oh, hang on. There is one lone hand has raised
subversive.
Up here. Actually, that is one more than I expected, I have to be honest.
What if one of the most talked about royal love stories wasn't exactly what it seemed? That's the question blowing up again. And this time, it's louder than ever. For years, Meghan Markle built an image that looked almost flawless. Modern, confident, independent, the perfect duchess in every headline. But now, that image is being challenged again, and not quietly either. One of Britain's most outspoken critics, Piers Morgan, is back in the spotlight. And he's not playing it safe.
Arms. And also, why is the belly several shades browner than anywhere else? It's not supposed to be brown.
With that signature smirk, he's pushing a claim that could seriously shake how people see Meghan's story. And he's not just repeating old rumors. He's framing this like something much bigger. According to him, there are documents, timelines, and photos that just don't line up the way they should. Moments that raise eyebrows, details that don't sit right. And online, people are already picking it apart like it's some kind of high-stakes drama. He's even given it a name, Pregnancy-gate. And he's treating it like a full investigation, not just talk. Every clip, every image, every timeline, suddenly under a microscope.
I don't think that is a real baby bump. I think
way too big. It's way too big.
and sort of too low as well.
Yeah, it's like a metre out there. I mean, It looks the wrong shape.
Where's she going to give birth there? Through her knees or something? I mean, that is too low.
Meanwhile, Meghan's side hasn't responded. No statements, no pushback, nothing. And in today's internet world, that kind of silence doesn't calm things down. It makes everything louder. Because when there's no answer, people start filling in the gaps themselves. And that's where this really starts to spiral. This isn't just about what's proven or not. It's about perception. It's about why certain stories refuse to disappear, no matter how many times they fade. Piers didn't just come back to comment, he came back swinging hard. Target locked straight on Meghan's reputation like this was personal. After laying low for months, he dropped what he calls new evidence, turning the whole situation into a fresh media storm overnight.
In my opinion, she would still be a waitress if it wasn't for Dad.
And now the real question isn't just what's true, it's what happens next. Because this story isn't slowing down anytime soon. He marched onto his show like he had just uncovered the biggest royal illusion in years. With that smug little grin, he tapped a stack of papers like he was about to put the whole palace on trial. His message was simple. I told you, she wasn't telling the truth. And just like that, the internet completely lost it. Within hours, clips of his rant were all over TikTok, X, and YouTube. Royal drama channels replayed every second like it was some massive courtroom showdown. Even people who usually can't stand Piers had to admit one thing. He knows exactly how to cause chaos and keep all eyes on him.
Let's not forget the Oprah performance.
Oh, yeah.
What?
They did what? These people?
What?
There's a conversation with you,
With Harry,
about how dark your baby is going to be?
potentially, and what that would mean or look like.
Ooh, how dark your baby was going
It was
to be?
ridiculous.
He dressed it up like he was setting the record straight, but come on. This felt more like entertainment warfare than straight reporting. Every eyebrow raise, every little pause, every smug look between lines. It was all part of the show. And what really got under Meghan's supporters' skin was how calm he looked while doing it. He wasn't loud this time. He wasn't raging. He looked like a man enjoying every second, like he had been waiting forever for this exact moment to land. And whether those papers really prove anything or not almost stopped mattering right there, because the impact had already hit. He had dragged an old royal rumor back into the spotlight and gave it a whole new life online. The palace may have wanted this buried, but suddenly it was front and center again. And once people heard the word documents, everything got even messier.
Never put an article out there that Meghan had a hysterectomy and couldn't have children, and that was a big issue in their relationship. So that says a lot to the fake royal kids right now, because obviously they couldn't have come out of her. So that's something that she obviously is going to have to deal with.
Then came the screenshots, the side-by-side clips, in the endless online breakdowns. What used to be seen as a happy royal pregnancy suddenly turned into one of the most overanalyzed topics on the internet. One day, the bump looked one way. Then, in another appearance, people claimed it looked different again. Smaller here, higher there, less visible under a coat. The tabloids barely had to do any work because social media was already doing the detective game for them. That's when Piers jumped in even harder, replaying old footage like he was cracking some giant mystery.
Do you remember Meghan actually refused to use the hospital that was usually used by royals and refused to use all of the normal medical staff, and there was all of the weirdness over the timing of the birth of art?
He pointed to the way Meghan often held her bump during appearances, interviews, and walkabouts. Supporters saw a normal, sweet habit. Critics saw pure performance. And that's how this whole thing exploded again. Not because anything had been fully proven, but because perception took over and the internet ran wild with it. Subscribe if you want more royal drama broken down without the fake fluff. And just like that, hashtags like Bumpgate and Royal Illusion started blowing up everywhere. The internet moved fast, really fast. Critics tried to explain it away, saying it was lighting, angles, posture, normal stuff. But let's be honest, once social media locks onto a narrative, logic barely stands a chance.
Meghan entered this world like it was a Hollywood set, assuming she could rewrite the script, center herself in every scene, and edit out anything that didn't fit her.
Side-by-side clips started flooding Reddit and forums, with people breaking down every frame like they were solving a crime. Pausing, zooming, comparing, turning moments into evidence. It wasn't just discussion anymore. It became a full-on obsession. And Meghan's silence, that didn't calm anything down. It made everything worse. Every outfit suddenly meant something. Every appearance turned into another clue. That bump wasn't just seen as part of a pregnancy anymore. It became a talking point people couldn't stop analyzing. Then came one video that really made people stop and look twice.
All of it was bullshit, designed to damage and attack the royal family, the monarchy, and all of it. And it made me...
Remember when Meghan talked about wanting a calm, natural home birth at Frogmore Cottage? The picture she painted sounded perfect, peaceful, private, something different from tradition. It fit the image she had built. But when the day actually came, everything changed. Suddenly, the story shifted. The palace announced that Archie was born at Portland Hospital, a private place known for high-profile clients and strict privacy. No detailed explanation, no real follow-up, just a clean announcement that felt almost too polished. And that gap, that's where everything started spiraling. Piers jumped right on it.
57,000 people complained about me for not believing Princess Pinocchio. And eventually my boss had said, can you just apologize to Meghan Markle or you're going to have to, maybe lose your job. I went, I'll take the job option, thanks, I'll leave. And I walked off into the...
He pulled up her past interviews, replayed her words, and put the two versions side by side. What was once presented as a clear plan suddenly looked different. And he made sure everyone noticed. Supporters were left confused, critics got louder, and the internet did what it always does. It filled in the blanks with its own theories. Some said plans changed for safety, others guessed logistics got in the way. And then, of course, the more extreme rumors started popping up too. Nothing officially confirmed any of it. But here's the real issue. When there are no clear answers, speculation spreads like crazy.
Why have they simply not made an announcement to the fact that all of this speculation about the children's arrival?
Even royal experts started questioning how something so publicly talked about could shift so quickly without explanation. And that's where the pressure really builds. Because in the royal world, image isn't just important, it's everything. And once people think that image doesn't match the story, things can spiral fast. And when your story doesn't match your timeline, the internet steps in and rewrites it for you. And what came next? That's when things got even deeper, messier, and way more chaotic. Just when people thought the rumors had peaked, a new wave hit. Leaked documents started floating around online. like they were some kind of forbidden royal files.
Putting out a twerking, heavily pregnant video with him dancing around like a wooden clown next to her. It's all just embarrassing.
Screenshots of supposed memos, schedules, private notes, all popping up out of nowhere. And every single one seemed to suggest the same thing, that Meghan's timeline didn't fully line up. According to these claims, there were hospital visits listed on days when she was also seen at public events miles away. Now, could there be normal explanations? Of course. But the internet didn't wait for that. Piers jumped straight on it. He didn't frame it as a question. He framed it like a pattern, calling it a carefully managed narrative and letting the audience connect the dots themselves. And just like that, everything exploded again. Hashtags like Royal Timeline and Receipt Season started trending fast.
Makes them newsworthy. So you either then ignore what people are talking about and debating and having all the silly stuff about the fake pump and so on, or you embrace it and we do a debate and it's always the same stuff, right? You two are never going to give an inch. I'm never going to give an inch the other way. We're losing time from our lives. We're never going to get back with these people.
People began piecing together dates, photos, headlines, turning into full-on digital detectives trying to map everything out. And the palace? Still silent. And you already know what that does. Silence doesn't slow anything down. It pours fuel on it. Even journalists started weighing in, not necessarily agreeing, but questioning the timing of these leaks. Some said they could be fake, pushed out to damage reputations. Others believed they might have come from insiders who were frustrated and ready to talk. No clear answers either way. But here's the key part. Once perception takes over, facts almost take a back seat. And Piers knew exactly how to play that moment. With that grin, he leaned into it, basically saying, "I'm not saying it's true, but if it is," and that's all it took, because once people start questioning one part of a story, the next question comes naturally. And this is where things really go off the rails. Suddenly, the conversation wasn't just about timelines anymore. It turned into bigger, more personal speculation, the kind that spreads fast, even without proof. Then, just as things were already heating up, more whispers started appearing, this time about what was happening behind palace doors. Anonymous notes, alleged staff accounts, claims about long hours, constant pressure, and a demanding environment. Stories that painted a completely different picture than what had been shown publicly. And here's the twist. Some of those narratives echoed things Meghan herself had spoken about in past interviews, but now flipped in the opposite direction. Piers didn't hesitate. He took those whispers and turned them into headlines instantly, framing it as a pattern. Meghan, presenting one version publicly, while something very different was happening behind the scenes. And whether any of it holds up or not, at this point, that almost wasn't the main issue anymore. Because once that kind of story takes off, controlling it becomes almost impossible. The more he talked, the more people online started nodding along like, "Wait, this actually makes sense." And just like that, the whole narrative began to shift. What once looked like a strong, independent woman under pressure suddenly started getting framed as something way more controlled, almost like a story that went off script. Then came the rumors about what was happening behind the scenes. Claims about exhausted staff, tension, people leaving, cold interactions. All of it spreading fast. Supporters called it unfair attacks. Critics called it confirmation of everything they already believed. And Piers? He sat right in the middle of it all, acting like the calm voice of reason, while quietly pushing the fire bigger with every sarcastic look and comment. The shift was brutal. Sympathy slowly turned into suspicion. Support turned into side eyes. The same public that once backed her started questioning everything. And this time, they weren't just reacting emotionally. They were pointing to clips, timelines, and claims. And then came the silence. When the pressure hit again, Meghan and Harry stepped back completely. No statements, no interviews, not even a small response through sources. Just total quiet. Now here's the reality. In today's internet world, silence doesn't calm anything down. It makes everything louder. Every day without a response became another reason for people to question what was going on. And Piers saw that opening immediately. He leaned into it hard, like he was controlling the whole conversation himself. Talking, reacting, pushing the story forward while no one pushed back publicly. To critics, that silence started looking suspicious. To supporters, it was just staying above the noise. But online, it turned into chaos. Forums exploded. TikToks broke down old clips frame by frame. Threads multiplied nonstop. At some point, the story stopped being hers and started belonging to the internet. And that's when Piers dropped the line that really stuck. If there's nothing to hide, why not just say it? That question spread everywhere. Headlines, talk shows, social media. It hit hard because it sounded simple. And Meghan's silence, which might have once been seen as controlled and strategic, started getting interpreted very differently. Here's the irony. The same person who built a huge platform around speaking out, sharing her story, and owning her narrative, was now being judged for not saying anything at all. Because in moments like this, it's not always about what's proven. It's about what people think they're seeing. And once that perception locks in, changing it becomes the real battle. It's not even about the bump anymore. It's about something way bigger. Power, control, and who gets to tell the story in this whole royal circus. Let's be real. Piers Morgan isn't chasing truth like he claims. He's chasing dominance. Every headline, every tease, every new reveal. It's all ammo in a personal battle that's been brewing for years. And it didn't start yesterday. This goes back to when Meghan cut him off completely. That moment clearly stuck with him, and now it feels like he's turned that into fuel. He's not just commenting anymore. He's driving the whole narrative like he's got something to prove. But don't get it twisted. Meghan isn't just sitting back either. Every public appearance, every project, every big move, that's her way of responding without saying a word. No direct statements, no back and forth. Just visibility. She's playing her own game, just in a completely different way. Meanwhile, Piers keeps positioning himself as the one exposing everything. The guy standing up against what he calls a perfectly crafted image. And let's be honest, people love that kind of storyline. The critic who sees what others don't. Here's where it gets interesting, though. This whole situation is not just personal anymore. It's business. Every clip, every argument, every new angle keeps both names trending. The attention feeds itself. The more people talk, the bigger it gets. And Piers knows exactly how to keep that cycle going. So when people ask why he won't drop it, the answer isn't complicated. Controversy brings attention, attention brings clicks, and clicks, that's the real currency. And right now, this story is still printing attention nonstop. Forget the palace for a second. The real stage is the internet. That's where this whole thing is actually playing out. A nonstop courtroom with no rules, no pause, button, and everyone thinking they're an expert. Memes become evidence. Hashtags act like verdicts. Old clips get dragged back and analyzed like they just happened yesterday. And once that machine starts moving, it doesn't slow down. Suddenly, everything becomes part of the case. Every look, every gesture, every moment gets picked apart. And here's the harsh truth. At some point, it stops being about facts and starts being about entertainment. Because once the internet locks in on a story, it doesn't just follow it, it turns it into a show. And whether she wanted it or not, Meghan became the center of that show. At this stage, Piers barely even needs to push anymore. The crowd does it for him. Thousands of people breaking down clips, analyzing reactions, building theories, all feeding into the same loop. And once that happens, the narrative doesn't belong to one person anymore. It belongs to everyone watching. One single tweet claiming her. Bump folded in a clip, pulled in millions of views overnight. That's all it took. Suddenly, perceptions started feeling like reality, and the wilder the claim, the faster it spread. Supporters tried to push back, explain things, bring logic into it. But here's the problem. Logic doesn't trend, chaos does, and every defense just added more attention to the fire. Before long, Meghan wasn't just part of the story anymore. She was the story. The headline, the focus, the center of everything. And in the court of public opinion, people had already made up their minds. Not based on proof, but based on how it all looked. That's the darker side of online fame. Once the algorithm decides you're the villain, it's almost impossible to flip that narrative back. You can't just fix it with a statement or a polished response, because the internet doesn't forget, and it definitely doesn't move on quickly. Reputation doesn't disappear all at once. Its eye fades piece by piece, hashtag by hashtag, moment by moment. And that's how this whole situation kept growing. What started as small whispers turned into one of the most chaotic royal controversies in recent memory. Whether you see Piers Morgan as someone exposing things or just stirring the pot, one thing is clear. He pulled Meghan right back into a spotlight she was trying to move away from. But here's where it shifts again. At this stage, it's not even about what actually happened anymore. It's about who controls the next version of the story, because this isn't slowing down, it's building. And if you think this was messy, what's coming next might take it even further. In the next part, things start connecting in ways people didn't expect, bringing Meghan into the same conversation as Prince Andrew, with journalist Tom Bauer stepping in with new claims that could shake things again. That's a whole different level of pressure. So if you want the full breakdown without the noise, hit subscribe and stay locked in. Because here, we don't just talk about the headlines. We break down what's really driving them. And remember, this isn't about jumping to conclusions. It's about looking at the full picture and understanding why these stories keep coming back.